met my wife Gail. I've been married to her for 28 years. Got 2 grown boys, and both of them are in law enforcement. Just recently became a grandpa. I'm pretty excited about that. So but I worked for 25 years in Maricopa County with Maricopa County Sheriff's Office of Phoenix, Arizona. And during my time with Maricopa County, I started in 1983, started working in the jail, worked as a detention officer, moved up to transport prisoners from facility to facility. Then I worked in the courts, taking prisoners to all the different court appointments or whatever, their trials. In '86, I tested and was successful in becoming a deputy sheriff and was assigned to a patrol district in the east part of Metro Phoenix area. I was fortunate enough to get picked to go to a specialized unit, and the unit was Lake Patrol, but Lake Patrol did a whole bunch of things in the county that in off seasons, warrant roundups and immigration roundups, and anything that they didn't have manpower for anything else to do, Lake Patrol would go in and do it. We did perimeter security for SWAT, got involved in a lot of search warrants and different things. A lot of the big forest fires that were out there, we did evacuations for. I served as incident commander on a couple of those different fires out there and a lot of different situations that we had. I mean, I could go on all day on different things that I've done. I retired, come back here to Missouri, bought a farm. I love Missouri. My family lives in Arkansas. My wife's family's in Oklahoma. We wanted to be close to our family. And once I got in Texas County, I started hearing about all the different things. I'd be riding with people, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's a meth house over there," or "this is going on over there," and I'd be like, "Well, why don't you call the sheriff's office and have them come in there and do something?" "Oh, we have. They won't come at all. They won't even come in this area at night." So I was like, "Well, that's kind of strange. That's not anything I've ever heard of before when you can't get law enforcement to come into an area at night." But the more I kept hearing, the more I kept thinking there's something to this, because I'm hearing the whole same thing. Deputies won't respond to calls. You know, there's drugs running rampant out here up and down the county roads at night. No one's doing anything. So I chose to run for sheriff on the last election, and obviously I didn't make that. But I went to work shortly after that with Winona Police Department, and the chief asked me to come over. He was a friend of mine, and he had an opening. I worked there for 7 months. After 3 or 4 months, I was promoted to sergeant and was in charge of grant writing and property. Actually, Chief Dan Dunn called me after I was there 7 months and asked me to come to Willow Springs Police Department. And I'm currently with Willow Springs Police Department, a canine handler, and I was able to get Willow Springs a narcotics dog with all the equipment, training, and everything at minimal cost to the city. It was all through community donations. I think they pay a dog food bill and a vet bill right now. We got vehicles, training, dog, all the equipment that goes with the dog, and it's been a really asset to Willow Springs. But through my career, I mean, I learned from my supervisors to write grants and how to obtain equipment from different sources. There are grants out there that are no strings attached type grants. There's some that you don't want to mess with. You don't get the government involved because you don't want the government messing their nose in your business in the county. Texas County Sheriff's Office, it needs to be restructured. They need to have some people go away that's been there for a while. And we need to have more deputies on during times that it's busy out and taking action.
Sorry.
That's it. No, there's a lot that needs to be done in there. The more and more that I talk to people, including past and current employees, I'm finding out things that are going on that I can't believe. But I would really like to turn Texas County Sheriff's Office into an agency that is respected by the residents of Texas County, that is professional, it's willing to come out and spend time with people and talk to them and investigate their crimes and find out what's going on in the neighborhoods. I think that's important to interact with the community. I did that as a deputy sheriff. I made contact with ranchers and stuff that were in the outer areas of town and visited with them. They really appreciated that. They were having problems I didn't know about and the sheriff's office didn't know about, and they figured that no one would come out there anyway. They didn't want to call. So I think it's important to get around and talk to people. I think it's important to have a professional image and be professional. Guys need to have training and be current with their training, and it's more important to me to have my guys trained than for me to go take some trip somewhere or do something. It's with county money. That currently happens at my office, but anyway, I would like to get in and take care of that. As your sheriff, I would clean up some of the problems that are there in the sheriff's office, and hopefully all the problems that are in there. And the drug problems in the county, honestly, I'm not going to solve them, but you can make a dent in them. I mean, you're never going to get rid of the drugs, but by active enforcement, you can definitely tone them down or get them going somewhere else, or get them prosecuted for the drug crimes. A lot of property crimes and stuff that are out there that people are not responding to, and it's just a shame. So I'm endorsed by Sheriff Richard Mack. He's with the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. I'm working on my ex-sheriff, Arpaio, but he's kind of hard to get a hold of. So, but I've spoken with his chief deputy, and I think that that's going to go through. With all of you know, name recognition with me is because I'm not from here. A lot of people don't know me, and I've just really been trying to get my name out, and I appreciate any help that I could get my name out. Mike's been a great asset for me, getting my name out. Sharon's been great. I thank you both. Roger, I want to thank you for cooking today, and I appreciate everyone being here. I want to share something it's on Richard Mack's website, actually. You know, every agency has a slogan on their car or on their patches or on their badge. It's to serve and protect. And we take an oath for that, and a lot of times, you know, an oath gets to be something somebody recites to get a job, and they don't take any thought into what the oath is of their office that they're taking. Once they've got their job, it's just something they had to do. But to serve and protect, I mean, who do we serve? As law enforcement officers or as public officials, we serve the people. And other answers that might be implied would be we serve the government, or we serve our commanding officer, or you know, we serve the law. But people is who we serve, not the government, not a commanding officer. You take an oath, you're there to serve people. The guy next door, the guy, you know, the family down the street, anyone that's in your community, you know, they're hardworking people that have made this land great. They're seeing their liberties just, you know, it's a gift to them to have these liberties, and they need to be protected for the people. You know, our Constitution, it was an establishment of the greatest form of government ever to exist on earth. So that's something that when you take an oath of office, if you're a public official, whatever, you need to really think about the oath that you're taking, and you really need to take that seriously. What do we protect? You know, we're protecting the rights of the people. So many times you think our job is writing tickets, arresting bad guys, putting them in jail, you know, trying to get them punished. We may do that on a day-to-day basis, but really, if you get down to it, we don't want to forget that we're there to protect the people. Keeping our community safe, you know, a nation as a whole, a free and happy place for your family to live. We catch lawbreakers and we punish lawbreakers because if the laws are constitutionally correct. They prohibit us from doing only those things that infringe on the rights and freedoms of others. If you get something stolen from you, it's denying you the right to own your own property. If somebody assaults you, it's damaging the most valuable property that you have or that you could ever own, which is your own body. Those things need to be protected. So I thought this was interesting, and I just hit on it pretty short. That I never really thought about it years ago whenever I took an oath. It was never explained to me. It was never taught in our academies or anything. And excuse me. And I think it's important in today's day and age to honor our oaths, and the sheriff is the last line of defense in the county to keep the government from coming in to tell them, this is my boundaries, you're not going to enter it. So as your sheriff, I want to make sure that that's done. I would like for the citizens to hold me accountable for that. So, any questions from anyone?
One of the biggest complaints that I hear on the street with our current sheriff's department is response time, and being in the evening shade, we're certainly at the brunt of that. What could you do as a sheriff to decrease our response time?
With more people out on the road during those busier times, even in the daytime, from what I understand now, most of the time they stay in Houston as a central location. They're not out patrolling. I want to actually assign people that live close to those areas to be responsible for those areas. Have somebody stay north, have somebody stay south. If there's extra people on, have them east or west, and overlap. Reserves, I would like to, I know they have a reserve program, but I'd like to build that up and get more reserves on. I talked before about starting a posse. They would be an asset, a volunteer posse for transport of prisoners, for deputy backup. They can't make arrests, but their visibility for crime deterrent out on the street. They can go to a call and stand by and wait for a deputy to get there if it's not something they can handle. And a lot of times there's some calls they can handle, barking dog calls, or they can go to alarm and check a building and stuff like that. But I think getting more people out there on the road and actually giving them an area of responsibility, and not just saying, well, whatever happens in the county, both of you go here, and then this side, then both of you go to this side if you get a call. Yeah, if you need the backup or whatever somewhere else, that's great, and we have other agencies that I'm sure are willing to come in and back people up. I know we do all the time, but still, you need to be in your community area over there. People need to see you there. You need to patrol the streets. You need to hit the back roads. That's going to be a crime deterrent and still put those guys closer in those areas if something does happen. And I've heard the same thing: 30 minutes, 40 minutes response time, if any. And
yeah,
we worked in I worked in a large county, and our average response time our longest was 15 minutes to a call, and that was running fast to get there. So it was kind of a joke with all the city agencies there. They were like, every time you see a sheriff's car, the antennas are bent over on the trunk. And it's like, that's because they're going from one side of the county to the other, and that's just the beat area that you work. So, but that's a good question. Anyone else?